Hello everyone, happy Friday. Today we are going to be making these beautiful Christmas ornaments, and I'm starting out with some almost 6 by 12 Arches 100% cold press paper. And I'm not going to sketch anything because we are using this circle lid. In fact, let's see, we're going to use a big one and a small one. These are just ball jar lids. And the paints that I ordered, these sets of Schminke Horadam Aquarelle, they're super granulating colors and they really add to the fun. I mean, I think it's kind of magical to watch this paint do its thing. So over here on my palette, I have laid out, it's wet, I've laid out some Tundra Violet and some Tundra Green and Tundra Rosa, and then I threw a blue in there, and I think it's the Tundra Blue. So I think part of what really helps these colors move a lot is I'm using it wet, and I am not adding a lot of water. It's a lot of pigment with just a little bit of water. And what you do is you go all the way around your ball jar lid. These are great. They have all different sizes. I have a bigger one that I'll do next. And what you want to do is, if you haven't used it before, I kind of scrape it on the sidewalk a little bit to give it a little bit of tooth to be able to kind of hold this pigment. You want to go around a couple times and drop it, and you're not going to turn it or anything. You just leave it there, and then you're going to work kind of fast when you do this because there's not a ton of paint on there, and you go in the middle and fill in a lot of water and then touch your edge so you can get some of that pigment moving. Again, with a lot of water. At least that's how I've been doing with this. And it's just, look at the colors. You can see there are several colors in here. There's like a pink, a purple, and a blue. And I kind of move my brush around. Now there are little edges. It's not always perfect. So if you can take a steady, non-caffeinated hand, which I think all my coffee's worn off. See, I want to go real slowly and bump this out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. And come around here. And I just I find when I rush, I mess it up. And then you can come in where this darker line is and just lightly kind of massage it to pull that color out. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in. See, can you see? I don't know if I should get closer. These little color changes that are happening. Okay, I'll scroll back out a little bit so you can see a little more of everything. So you can see these pinks and blues that are coming out. And then I go in with a little water and some pigment, and you're going to go around the edges here and drop a little more in. It doesn't have to be a ton, because I find that the darker that you go with these granulated colors, you lose a lot of the real pretty light. The pink kind of disappears. If you go too purple, or too dark, then the dark dominant color takes over and you don't get a lot of these variations here. So I wonder, I'm gonna kind of I like to leave a little highlight mark there. But see how this is turning blue and doing all kinds of fun designs? The paint does the work for you, is what I'm trying to say. Now what we're gonna do is we'll do another, maybe a big one here and maybe one coming off the page. Next, I will do, I want to do blue or green. Rinse your brush, dry it off. We'll do blue next to this. And so I'm taking the Tundra blue and I'm going around. Now this is a bigger ornament, so I'll have to work even a little bit faster. Might need to add a little bit of water to this so that it moves a little better, but not a lot. Go all the way around. And you can kind of see it doesn't stick really completely to every part of this. It's metal, but you can usually get enough. And okay, I'm going to go one more quick time around to make sure this is all wet. And all right, up here, boop, and get a bunch of water on my brush. I could probably even, you know what, since this has a hole in it and the other one didn't. Oh, look at that. Go around this whole thing. Let me see what this does. See if that goes outside the circle or not. I'm still holding the circle down, but I'm going all the way to the edges. And you can see the pigment coming in. That's kind of fun. I'm glad I did that. Now we're gonna lift it carefully. Oh, well that's bad, the little splatter. But let's see if I can wipe some of that up. You probably wanna go straight off when you're coming up out of there, but I really like the idea with the center missing, that you can go around and get it very wet and not go outside of the line. Now you still, if you're a perfectionist, you could go and kind of try to straighten this. You can see where it's a little, and it's also because I'm not using hot press paper, I'm using cold press paper. If I used hot press paper, which is not one of my favorites, I would imagine, maybe I'll try that tomorrow, that you're not going to have the little indents in the line because the paper is smoother. But, and these are so tiny, I might just go over those with like white paint, a little bit of white gouache. All right, so I'm gonna even go in, the line is so dark, I wanna bring a little bit more of this color into my ornament. That's nice and thick, but you can just kind of, again, use your brush and pull that color in. You want to work your way around because this stuff is drying over here while I'm fiddling on the one side. All right, there we go. And kind of help move that pigment a little bit. Oh, I like that. Let's see. Now, I think I'm going to add a little bit here at the bottom. Okay. And let me see. Even massage this out a little more. And straighten. This line just a bit. And this one went a little wonky over here. All right. That is still super thick up there, but let's see, maybe I will pull that in a little bit more. Now this might be hidden by my gold topper that I'm going to do. All right, and now that one doesn't have the different colors going on that this one does. It doesn't look like it's multicolored. This one has purple and blue and a little pink, and this one is pretty solid blue. Let me see, should I even mess with these? Well, let's do our third ornament, and you'll watch these kind of, they still move a bit and do some really pretty things. Let's see, we'll get this line. Still a little dark to me. I want that to come in and blend a little more. All right, there we go. And now the third one, I'm just gonna wipe off this small one. I'll do another small one over here, and we're going to do green this time. So this is Tundra Green, and I have a neat little touch that I'm going to add at the end when this dries. So stick around because it really adds a nice touch, and it's a product I haven't used much. I've used it once or twice, so I got it out because it is the holidays. All right, so now this one I'm not going to be able to go in the middle with the water like I did on this one. So let's wet our brush and lift straight up without splattering. That was better. I don't know why that last one splattered so much. All right, so let's get in here, move some of this water around. Also try to get this color moving a little bit. Now, if you're not filming while you're doing this, I would recommend turning your paper. You know, sometimes or always your arm will work better in one direction than in another, and it's easier to move the paper, but I don't want to make you dizzy by doing that. See how pretty that is running in, that color that's running in. Now let's see, let me try to get up to the edges here, and we're gonna go around one more time. I've got a little bump down there. Let's see. There we go. Circles are tough. They're very hard to freehand for me, and I think pretty much in general, because anytime you go to any of the art or craft stores, they have stencils that you can use to draw circles, or guides, which is, I mean, it's just a difficult shape to maintain. If I'm painting something freehand, like an orange in a painting, it just like it grows and grows and grows. So it's nice to have these this guide, these ball jars. They do give you a pretty good starting point for your circle, but it does, you know, you want to finesse it a little bit. There we go. Now I think I'm liking this one a lot. Can kind of keep pulling those pigments in. I just feel like these paints do a lot of the work for you in terms of giving you interesting, beautiful color blends. There we go. Now, I don't know, do I want to mess with that one a little more? I don't think so. Boop. Let's see. Now, what we're going to do is, this is drying. While I'm letting it dry a little more, you know what, maybe I'm going to put in a little bit darker down here. And when I was practicing, I mixed a few colors and I did like that, but I don't know if I want to do that on here. I'm going to leave it. All right, and let that do its thing. Now, this one I'm going to pull a little bit of the water out of the corner. This has a ton of water in there. Let's get some of it out of there so it has a chance to dry, and I can show you the other effect that I did. All right, so we've got all three ornaments. Now, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to draw in the ornament topper by hand, and then I'm going to fill it in with this. This is what I was talking about. This is more Schminke Aqua Bronze, and these are all, I paid for these. I am not sponsored by Schminke on this, so these are my personal. And then Aqua Bronze Gold. You take these and they start out as a powder, and you mix water into them, and you need a very little to mix your colors up. It's not, you don't need a lot of it. This one I don't think is even going to have a little topper's just going to go to the top of the page on there. All right, draw a little rectangle and a little loop and a little loop. Sometimes those are easier to draw with your hand than with a brush. And being that I have a slipped herniated disc in my neck, my fine motor skills have been a little not as good as they should be. Now we're just gonna fill this in, and you mix your water in with this, and just gonna, it is such a beautiful gold. I'll close up on it in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way to the end there because that is pretty dry. I'm gonna go over here since I went a little long there, and now just gonna, probably could have used a smaller brush. I really love this etch. I bought these etcher brushes, which, you know, they're known for their papers, but I actually really like their brushes that I have. All right, so there we go. There are, do this one a little bigger, little straighter. There we go. Now I'm going to rinse this out, and let's see. That's pretty dry. That one's not, and that one's not, but I'm going to show you. We're going to dry brush on. Got some gold mixed in here, and it's pretty thick, obviously not level. And what I did in the last one is, you know, those really neat, I don't know what that glass is called, where it has this burnished kind of look, but I thought this taking your brush on its side and you just go over, and I don't think this would work as well if you had hot press paper, because you wouldn't have these little these little bumps in the paper, the texture. And so I'm just going over the whole thing with gold. And you just, again, use the side of your brush, kind of pull that around. All right. And I am going to, I don't think I'll switch to silver. I'll do all the gold first. That's really pretty. And we'll do the next. This one's wet, but let's see what happens. Let's see if we can. I do want to go all the way. I don't want to exclude the edges here. And I also don't want to cover the entire thing. But you just want to use a light touch with this. You could also use the tip and do little squiggles if you wanted to. You know, it's up to you how much or how little you want to add the glitters. You could, like I said, go, if you're wanting to do little squiggles in here, making it look kind of course, the sun's coming out right on my, the sun's been away all day. Look at that. Let me go close that. Let's see. Dry it off a little. I'm going to do this one a little heavier. All right, take this down. Wish I could remember the name of that glass that has like these speckles in it. Old-fashioned. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments below. Oh, that's pretty. See, I could get really carried away with this gold. Let's see, you can even come in and do some bigger spots of it if you want. It's just so festive. Very pretty. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I've got some white gouache and I'm going to, because I was messy, if you're not a messy painter, you won't have to do this. I should probably try to scrub that off first. All right, so I took some white gouache and I covered up some of the darker spots of splatter and cleaned this up a bit. I didn't want to bore you with it, but now we're going to take a ruler And I am going to do 2 thin lines of string coming around the front and then around the back. Oh, big fat pen there. We're going to switch it for a tiny micron black pen, which will look much nicer. There it is. And I do 2 very thin lines. I just like the way that looks going through the gold loop. And so it goes around the front, the little loop, and then around the back. And there's the first one. And the second one is way close to the top, but I still want to put a little string up there. And the third one. I just love every product, like I said, that I used today was Schminke. The gold and silver powders are beautiful, and these are the super granulating paints, and they're a lot of fun. All right, so we're done with the strings, and I think it could use a little splatter. But first, we are going to outline, put little ridges in the gold ornament holder at the top. It just gives it a little bit of definition. You don't have to do that. I just like to add a lot of details or little details at the end, especially like that, to give it a little dimension. The gold just kind of looks like one big rectangle, so I like to use my micron pen to give it a few little details. So you do just some scalloped edges around the top, and then I go around the bottom of the gold when I'm done doing little scallops. And so I hope you liked this product. I hope you liked this project. I'm sorry, today's been a long day. It was a lot of fun for me. I think that if you have any type of granulating paints, you could do this and then kind of dry brush over it with the gold. I have another video coming up next week that has some greenery behind it that I just finished. And that one was a lot of fun too. So I will try to put a link to it in the corner here for the next video. And I'm just going to splatter a little paint. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day.